Hello and welcome to another episode of News Connect on City TV. Following the removal of EC Chairperson Madam Charlotte Osei and her two deputies, some CSOs and individuals are questioning the grounds of her removal. Her removal was approved by the President. My name is Melissa Awad. This is News Connect on City TV. Stay tuned.
It is a very clear case that this is a recipe for chaos. There is a clear breach on some part of the Constitution, and you could see very clearly that the petition was not followed due. You understand me? The petition is fraught with fraudulence, and there is very clear that you would realize that due process was not followed. So, you can't jump the petition and then move on to substance and go and discuss it. When you do that, I think that you open up our legal system to some level of ridicule, because some judicial precedents are aligning to one part in the Ajay case, and the others, we have set a new precedent at all. And if you look at it very critically, you realize that this is a bad precedent we are setting for not only ourselves, but generations to come. I think that the sacrosanctness and the independence of the Electoral Commission should be protected, and that is the main reason why we are critiquing the President's decision to oust Charlotte and the two deputies from office.
So you're believing that this decision was wrongfully made, like this was not correct?
I think technically you may say it sound right, but politically it is not best in the interest of the entire nation. And I think that just as the people have said, civil society, I think that people from the clergy and also all part and well-meaning Ghanaians should stand up against this injustice being done, because tomorrow we may not know where this decision is going to take us to.
I totally agree with him. I think the President missed it this time, hugely. I mean, there have been several occasions where petitions have been sent to the President, or even the public have raised issues about the President's own appointees and how he has dealt with it. For example, when people accuse the President's appointees of being corrupt, the President stood up in defense and said that if people want to tag his government with corruption, it won't work. That was the President's words verbatim. Now, that was an opportunity for the President to demonstrate that indeed he does abhor corruption and any financial malfeasance. But clearly, if you look at the background of this particular matter and this EC case, where it started from the period of her appointment, when certain individuals, high-ranking in the now ruling government, came out boldly, like Mr. Kennedy Japan, and stated emphatically that when the NPP comes to power, they'll remove her. And that was clear. He made that statement emphatically that Charlotte Osei will not survive the entire tenure of the NPP if they win power. Now, that statement is on record. A few months down the line, after the NPP has won power, some faceless people surface somewhere and petition the President to remove the EC Chairperson. This didn't happen in a vacuum. Now, this whole thing is a bit mind-boggling if you think about it. This is the Chairperson of the Electoral Commission with the status of an appeals court judge. And you are telling me that an appeals court judge in Ghana can be removed by faceless petitioners, by anonymous petitions? Clearly, there are procedures to remove these Article 71 office holders. And all these processes have not been followed thoroughly. But civil society organizations, we do not condone corruption. And so when we saw the petition, I actually got a copy of the petition and read. And I said that if indeed there are some forms of malpractices or breaches that have been engaged by Madame Charlotte Osei, it needs to be investigated. But because of the sensitivity of the matter and the sensitivity of the office she occupies, then this probe or investigation should be made transparent for everybody to see that indeed, and like it was done in the 2012 election petition, where for the first time, a Supreme Court sitting was broadcast entirely for everybody to see, so that when the outcomes comes out, stakeholders will not have any reason to complain because the facts, the evidences, the cross-examinations were in their full glare. This was a petition that I personally wrote and signed. A few months later, I went to the office of the Chief Justice to get a reply for the petition that we sent. When I went, They searched through the entire office of the Chief Justice. They couldn't find the petition that we sent. Again, they asked us to bring a copy of the petition, which we did. A few months later, we went again to the office of the Chief Justice, and that petition again could not be found. Now, a few days ago, some faceless people sent a petition to the Chief Justice, telling the Chief Justice that, the EC's matter has kept long and they should expedite actions. And then a few days down the line, the president comes out with a decision. Okay? Now, if you look at the scenario that I have created, clearly, you cannot rule out premeditation out of this particular matter. You could see clearly that there is a clear orchestrated plan to remove the woman, and that any force or anybody or any impediment in their way gets kicked aside and follow through or follow suit to the completion of that particular plan, which indeed is very baffling and an affront to our democracy. The Electoral Commission is the backbone of our democracy. Now, once we are tampering with this, you see, I refer this matter to common sense, because the precedents that we are setting now, anybody who this government appoints as Electoral Commission will not last even another tenure of the next ruling government.
Are you saying because of what has now happened? Because
of what has happened, if the NPP or Nana Akufo-Addo appoint a new EC chairperson now, when the NDC also comes to power, they will also take steps to remove him or her, and it is going to be a recurring cycle. Then the basic purpose for which we enshrine certain clauses in our constitution, that the Electoral Commission should outlive the tenure of ruling government who appointed them, so that they can stay as independent as possible, that principle will be defeated. So every government comes, they want to appoint their own Electoral Commission chairperson, and that is useless for our democracy.
If we go into the findings, what did the findings say? They categorized everything that was put out there into misbehavior and misconduct. Those were the basic terms used in sending them away. Now, if you have a government, and it's regrettably unfortunate that at the time where we're just about celebrating another age of, a Republic Day, another time of enjoying a fruitful democracy, especially from the 1992 till date. We have a president who would send an electoral commissioner home with a deputy stating that they were caught for misconduct and misbehavior. If you put pieces of circumstances together, and I think many of that was elaborated in the release, where we had procurement breaches. And in these procurement breaches, you tell us that certain things were procured without the knowledge of the Public Procurement Authority. And we just opposed that to other similar authorities, where the NLA, the whole CEO and head of the National Lottery Authority, awarded about 11 contracts to his mother-in-law just in a single day. We had instances where other breaches, there are several companies. In fact, even in the recent case between Broja Jemfi and Ken Ofurata at the Ken Bond issue, it was established by Schwartz that indeed some procurement breaches occurred in transacting that agenda. But at the end of the day, what happened? The finance minister was retained in office. He was asked to rescind on that, and the right due procedures be followed on that note. And so I think that as and when issues like this occur, from now onwards, there's always an appropriate way to tackle them, other than sending the Electoral Commission off. And just like my brother said, it was established even before they came into power that whether hook or crook, by astute pillars and astute members of the NPP, that they would send this woman home because she was NDC. Right after the election, Mustafa Hamid, who is an information minister, kept on record that indeed the woman proved them wrong by declaring the NPP victorious. And I think that if you have a president who does not believe in the will of the Ghanaian people by sending the EC off, then you are indirectly telling us that indeed our votes were skewed towards your direction, because such a woman who declared you president of the country today is being called incompetent. Somebody who declared you president of the country is being declared is being caught for gross misbehavior and misconduct. Look, there are ministers in town who use the siren at inappropriate times and at inappropriate hours. A minister of the land is not even supposed to take a governmental vehicle to his house. So if that is the tangent we are going to catch people for misconduct and misbehavior, I think that everybody who uses a siren at an inappropriate time must be caught and fired.